Welcome to Financial Strategies with Andrew Agemy in Connecticut and Daniel Agemy in Colorado.
Daniel, I can't tell you how many times I've heard the words, are Roth IRAs good, Andrew? Should I be investing in a Roth IRA? Oh, Andrew, what do Roth IRAs pay? Let's talk about that today on Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Agemy. I'm Andrew Agemy.
And I'm Daniel Agemy, and we are going to be talking about, do Roth IRAs make sense today? And AAA, what is a Roth IRA? Where do you want to get started with this?
Yeah, let's talk about, because people don't, so many times, right, Daniel? How many times also have we heard like, hey, what's that thing that you can put $2,000 in and then you don't pay, you can take it out, don't pay tax or whatever, right? And so there's a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of old information out there, and we like to set everybody straight about Roth IRAs today. So let's start with Roth IRAs and IRAs, right? Whenever you talk about one, you have to talk about the other to a certain extent, right? And what Roth IRAs and IRAs are, where I'd like to start today, is the aspect of, like, let's say, a car registration, right? You have a license plate on your car, and that license that's on your car is a motor vehicle. And that license plate represents the registration that's in the glove compartment. And the registration in the glove compartment says who owns the car, what's going to happen upon death, who's responsible for the car, all those different things, right? Same thing with an IRA and a Roth IRA. Those are like the license plate to your investments. You can put that license plate on any motor vehicle you want. You can put it on a Honda, you can put it on a Ford, you can put it on a Chevy, whatever you want. Doesn't matter what kind of motor vehicle it wants. What matters is how it's registered and who's it's registered to. Same thing with the IRAs, Roth IRAs, and other things are called 401ks, right? They're registrations, right? You can do different things with those registrations and put them on. You can do different kinds of investments and use different kinds of investment vehicles for your IRAs and Roth IRAs. So many times people say, what does a Roth IRA pay, Andrew? Well, it all depends what investment vehicles you use on those, right?
So if the Roth IRA is like the license plate, right?
Yeah, right.
Or the registration.
Yeah.
And you want to earn 5%, maybe that's like a Prius and a CD, right? So you take the license plate, you put it on your Prius, you're nice and efficient, you know what you're doing, you're earning your 5%, the CD. Or you say, I want to be more aggressive, and you take that license plate, that registration, you move that over to,
Challenger,
right? A Challenger, right? And you put it on there, and now you've got some performance, and maybe that's, maybe that's aggressive growth stocks, or that's, some Bitcoin, or that's something like that, right?
All kinds of things. Yeah. Supercar, whatever. Yeah. Right. You got it. Daniel, why don't you tell our audience today, the differences between the traditional IRA and the Roth IRA.
So traditional IRAs are what people are more used to. And this could be through your employer. So it could be it could be like a 401k. It could be an IRA. The IRA means that you own it and you get to manage it and things like that. When you're talking about like a 403b, a 457, a 401k, the rules are similar, where the traditional, you get a tax break. So if you want to lower your tax liability in the current year, now with IRAs, you can actually push it forward to the next year. But if you want to lower your tax liability, then what you do is you put money into that, and it reduces your income by the amount you put in. Now, there are rules how much you can fund these and whatnot, but we'll say it's a traditional 401k, and you make $100,000 a year, and you say, I want to defer $20,000 of that. So you take $20,000 out of your paycheck, you put that into your traditional 401k at work, and what ends up happening is, now when you get your tax bill, instead of $100,000 on the tax bill, it's an $80,000 tax bill. You deferred your taxes, and one day you're going to have this pesky thing called an RMD, where the government's going to make you take money out of that IRA So, or for, in this case, the 401k, they're going to make you take it out so that you can pay some taxes on it. On the Roth, same situation, right? You make $100,000, you put it into your Roth 401k, the same $20,000. You get that money into the Roth 401k, and you get your tax bill, and it's $100,000. You didn't get any deductions. Now, why would I want to do that? I could take a deduction and only pay $80,000, or I don't take a deduction. I have to pay taxes on $100,000 of income. Well, this is growing inside of your Roth 401k or your Roth IRA. It's growing, and the growth will never be taxed.
Right.
So we said you have to take that pesky 401k on the traditional. So all the money, let's say in 10 years, or let's say in 40 years from now, you've got $1 million in that traditional 401k. As that comes out, all $1 million will be taxed. On the Roth, $0 will be taxed.
Nice. So you get the tax break going in on the IRA or 401k and have to pay taxes later. On the Roth, you pay the taxes before it goes in, and then you don't ever pay tax again. Beautiful thing. You listen to Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Agemy. Today's topic that we're talking about is Roth IRAs. Do Roth IRAs make sense? And we have a paper that goes along with today's show that we would like to give to you. It's called Proactive Tax Strategies. And, we're all about paying as little tax as legally possible. And so we want to give you this book to help you, this brochure to be able to help you understand how you can pay less tax. And some of these things you can implement yourself, some you might need help with. But we want to educate you on this, and you can have it by calling 800-725-7616 for your free copy. No obligation. 800-725-7616 for Proactive Tax Saving Strategies. You listen to Financial Strategies and you're Daniel Agemy, because people don't know what people don't know. Today's topic is, do Roth IRAs make sense? So we just talked about the big difference between a Roth IRA and traditional IRA is the traditional, you get taxed, you get the tax break going in, you don't pay taxes, but you pay taxes when you take it out on a bigger amount of money. You have to pay taxes on the crop, not just the seed. On the Roth IRA, you pay taxes on the seed, so to speak, and then you are able to take the whole crop, all the money that's in there, without taxation. So this is definitely something to look at, because if it's tax free, it's for me. I mean, that's what I want, right? And so Roth IRAs, Roth 401ks. Daniel used the example that you can have these days, not only can you have a traditional 401k where you put the money in pre-tax, you can also have a 401k Roth where you're able to pay the tax before the money goes in, and then you take it out tax-free. It's similar to a Roth IRA, but still yet different. Big difference with 401ks, 403bs, they're owned by the company. The money's yours, but the plans are owned by the companies. The companies that you work for say what your investment's going to have and what the rules are, but it's your money. So this is the idea here. The difference, one is taxed first and then tax-free later. The other is not taxed and then taxed later. So in this case, the Roth IRAs, you don't pay tax later. Now, when we're talking about this, there's two ways you can get money into your Roth IRA. One is through contributions, and the other is through conversions. So there is no limitation to conversions or anything like that. You're going to, when you convert your traditional IRA to Roth IRA, well, you're going to pay tax at that conversion. And you have to look at it. Don't try this at home. You have to look at that and make sure that you understand what taxes are going to be being paid. You don't want to be surprised with a $40,000 tax bill at tax time because you converted a ton of money. You don't want to be surprised with the 65-year-old tax because you converted a bunch of money. you want to be careful about that, but you're going to pay tax, and it's going to be at your current tax rate. But sometimes people's current tax rate is lower than what their tax rate's going to be when they turn 73 and they have their RMDs and everything like that. So you have to take a look at that to not just do tax planning now, but tax planning for the future. And that's one reason why you look at a Roth conversion. And if you're interested in that, we have information, webinars and papers on Roth conversions. But then the other way is contributions. And to put money into a Roth IRA, you have to be having an earned income. You have to have a paycheck. IRA income, pension income, Social Security income, that's not earned income. You earned it, but that's not considered earned income for these purposes. And so you have to have earned income, and it doesn't matter. They took the age limit off with the Secure Act 2.0 that you can, if you're 80 years old and having earned income, you can still contribute to Roth IRAs, which is pretty cool. Now, when you're talking about contributing to Roth IRAs, there are some limitations depending upon how much money you earn. So we're not going to get into those limitations today. But depending how much money you earn, your spouse earns, whatever the case may be, you know, when you hit a certain level, you can't make a contribution, a regular contribution into your Roth. Now, there are some what they call backdoor Roths that we could talk about. We're not going to talk about on the show today for those people that make higher incomes, but that is a thing. But if you're under 50 years old in 2024, you can put $7,000 into your Roth IRA if you qualify for a contribution. If you're over 50 years old, you can put $8,000 in. That's new for 2024, folks. This is important. In 2023, if you were below 50, you could put $6,500 in, and over 50, you could put $7,500 in. And in 2024, you can put $7,000 in if you're under 50, and if you're 50 or older, you can put $8,000 in. And same thing with your 401ks and everything like that. You can put more money in for 2024 than you could for 2023. So these are things to take in consideration in regard to the contribution. So you can put money in through contribution or can put money in through conversion. And many times we talk to a lot of people about the concept of converting, because it wasn't until I think 1998 that they allowed people to have Roth IRAs, even though they started traditional IRAs in 1974, 75. But so a lot of people have not put in as they coulda, shoulda, woulda. And so now they have the opportunity to look at that and make and course correct on that front. Boy, I'm just talking a lot. I'm going to take a break, and we're going to take a break. Before we go to break, I want to let you know that we have a book today to help educate you further on tax-free stuff. We like tax-free. As I said, if it's tax-free for me, I want to pay as little tax as legally possible. We have a book called Smart Retirement. Well, it's for those people that don't qualify to put money into their Roth IRAs, or it's for those people that have more money than what they can put into a Roth IRA available. And it's got some pros and cons to Roth IRAs, but it takes limitations off for some of the pros. It gives you liquidity before you're 59 and a half, some of the pros. A lot of good things that it has that this Smart Retirement talks about, how to be able to have money tax-free in the future for what you need it for. So we'd love to give you this book. So on Smart Retirement, call at 800-725-7616 for your free copy, 800-725-7616 for the next 5 first-time callers, 800-725-7616. Call now.
This is Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Agemy.
Daniel, I was talking to our client. You know, we always change the names of our clients, you know, for security purposes. But I was talking to this woman we call Sally, and Sally said, Andrew, in our local paper, there's a woman that writes articles, and she was writing this article about Roth IRAs and how you have to be careful because there's a penalty. You know, if you don't have a Roth IRA for more than 5 years, or you convert the money and you take it out within 5 years, you can have these penalties on it and whatnot. And Andrew, you know, I've never heard that before. You know, what's with that? What's going on there? And well, you know what? I explained to her what I'm going to explain to her right after this. I'm Andrew Agemy.
And I'm Daniel Agemy, and you're listening to Financial Strategies. Today we're talking about, do Roth IRAs make any sense? And AAA, if people haven't caught on, we like Roth IRAs. I kind of wonder sometimes how these are even legal because, especially over the last 15 years, governments have pumped so much money into economy, into markets, into all these things. Right. And if you were invested in almost anything, now we don't suggest investing in almost anything. We suggest investing in something that's going to actually pay you. But you've done tremendous. And guess what? It's tax-free as long as you follow certain rules. And that's one of the rules you're about to explain, which is a 5-year rule. There's some rule about not taking money out because it may jeopardize your tax-free nature of the Roth IRA, or at least that's how it's being presented.
Yes, right. So let's get that, straightened out here so that people know. Okay. So I'm reading from IRS publication 590 when it comes to Roth IRAs, because people say, there's all these things about the 5-year rule for Roth IRAs. And here, the basics of the 5-year rule is this. If you open up a Roth IRA, that if you take the money out before 5 years, that you have a penalty on the growth. Now, if you reach 59 and a half, so the penalty is affixed prior to 59 and a half, or if you're under 59 and a half or 5 years, whichever is longer. So if you started a Roth IRA for the first time when you're 60 years old, you're going to have to wait until you're 65 years old to take out the growth without penalty. You can take out the principal that you put in without a penalty, but not the growth. All right. But here is the key. Here's what the deal here is that if you had any 401, if you had any Roth years ago, if you started a Roth IRA in 2000, matter of fact, that's what I did. I started a Roth IRA in 2000 and I didn't put any money into that, but I'm putting Roth IRA and doing conversions now and everything like that because I had this one in 2000 that I started it. And that's one of the reasons why I kept it. At points in time when I was raising my 8 children, I couldn't put money in, but I knew it was going to be valuable to me later on. And so I started back then, and the key is that you've had one. Okay, so here's IRS publication 590 on Roth IRAs to clarify this for people. Here's what it says. It says a qualified distribution is any payment or distribution from your Roth IRA that meets the following requirements. Number 1, the distribution is made after the 5-year period beginning with the first tax year for which a contribution was made to a Roth IRA set up for your benefit. So technically, right, you could have taken money out today for a Roth IRA that you opened up in, what would that have been, Daniel? About 2019, I think, right? If you opened up one in December of 2019, right? Is that 5 years ago? Right? That 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah. So actually 2020, you could have opened up a Roth IRA in December of 2020. That's the tax year. So that's what this is saying. It is made up a 5-year period beginning with the first tax year. The first tax year would have been 2020. Second year would have been 2021, 2022, 2023. January 2024 is the 5th tax year. You take it out, without penalty or whatever the 5-year time. Maybe it was 2019. But anyway, the point is you go from December the 1 year to January the other, right? It's technically 4 years, but you still hit 5 tax years, which is real interesting. But anyway, I'm getting into weeds. And the point is that, people don't always understand the rules. They hear things, professional financial people, they hear things and they tout it. Well, let's go to IRS publication 590 to verify if it's true or not. Well, again, I'm talking a lot.
And another misconception is, if we're talking about misconceptions on these things, right? So that 5-year rule we hear all the time. The other one is I cannot put money in because I don't have income, right?
Right.
And you can't make a contribution. That is correct. But you can do conversions. And this is something I think a lot of people miss, is the conversions. Because I think this is one of the best benefits people have. Because like you said, a lot of people have not made contributions. Younger people are doing that through 401ks and things like that. But there's this ability, you don't have to have earned income, and there's no limit to how much you can do. So maybe after this break, we can dive a little bit more into another misconception that gets out there.
Okay, great. Well, you're listening to Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Agemy. Today's topic is, do Roth IRAs make sense? And we have a paper for you today that we'd love to be able to give you to be able to help you understand and educate you further on the various ways that you can pay less income tax. Proactive tax strategies. We're all about strategies here. Strategies are good. They're fluid. They move. Planning tends to be more static in nature, whereas strategies are more dynamic. And we love to give you this proactive tax saving strategies for free by calling us at 800-725-7616. No obligation, 800-725-7616 for the paper on proactive tax saving strategies. You listen to Financial Strategies because people don't know what people don't know. Today we're talking about, are Roth IRAs good, right? Daniel, this whole thing about being able to take the money out tax-free, if somebody converted $100,000 into retirement to a Roth IRA, right? That's a lot of tax they're going to be paying, right? $20,000, $30,000, right. $40,000, depending what their tax strategy is or their tax bracket is. Yeah. But, I'm thinking of, that one person, why don't you tell us about that one person that last year paid a lot of taxes, right? In the Roth conversion?
It flips back to strategies. So we had a client taking some of the mystery out of investing, right? Mm-hmm. We talk a lot about bonds and bond-like instruments as investments. So when you have a bond, let's say a corporate bond, it can go up and it can go down in value, but that when it gets bought back from you, how much that it will be. So let's take an example of an investor has a $10,000 investment, 10 bonds in XYZ company. And XYZ's bonds are trading at 7,500. Okay? Mm-hmm. So there's 10 bonds, 7,500. And let's say that it is paying you $600 a year. Okay?
Right.
So that's 6% on par, trading at $7,500. What happens if you convert that? You're technically converting $10,000, but you're really only moving over $7,500.
Nice.
Not to mention you're getting $600 a year on top of that. And so sometimes, not always, but sometimes it makes sense to pay the taxes because you know what the return will be. So we had a client who did this and moved over. I think it was close to $50,000, paid the taxes on that.
Paid a lot of tax.
Over.
Yeah.
But when you move over something at a 25% discount, now this isn't like a stock where you say it's at a 25% discount, but if markets never say that is a 25% discount, it will never come back. All you need is the company to buy this back. So that is a way that we like to help people when we see these things being undervalued. So the 10,000 par of bonds moving over at 7,500, collecting $600 a year, let's say for 4 years, right?
Right.
Before it gets bought back. This is money that is going to be tax-free. And I think that's something that a lot of CPAs or even financial people have a difficulty with paying taxes on money because they say, well, we don't know what you're going to earn. Right. But this is a way that we've seen clients really take advantage of mispriced securities. So it's trading at a discount. And on top of that, it mathematically builds in that return on investment because it's going to get bought back from you. That might be a little bit confusing to people without having the illustration here. But basically what it's doing is taking a dollar and paying 75 cents to move it into a Roth. So when you get the dollar back, you only pay taxes on 75 cents on the dollar.
Right. Very cool. Very cool stuff, Daniel, the way that happens. One of the things you said is, there's a lot of people that don't like Roth IRAs, professional financial people, tax people especially. They say, oh, you'll never bake back your money over a period. And the key, whether it's a 5-year rule, whatever, don't do this unless it's for the long run, for more than 5 years.
Yeah.
If you're going to take the money out next year, don't bother, right? There's too much work involved, everything else. But for over the long run, and the compounding nature of that is phenomenal. You could take $100,000, right? And then in a few years, it turns into convert $100,000. You take the taxes, let's say the taxes are $25,000, you take it out of your bank account that you'll already pay tax on. So you convert the whole $100,000. And then in maybe 5 or 10 years or whatever, maybe that has turned into 500,000. Who knows, right? It's possible. That's possible, depending how it's invested and compounding and whatnot. But whatever point it turns into 500,000, now you got $500,000 that you don't pay a stinking penny of tax on. It's a beautiful thing. But if you're investing in the stock market, it may not be that way, right? But that's what's so beautiful about bond-like insurance is that you know what's going to happen. You have an idea. You don't have to guess. You have guarantees or promises. It's not hope. You're listening to Financial Strategies. Then you're Daniel Agemy. Today's topic, because people don't know what people don't know, today's topic is, do Roth IRAs make sense? And we're talking about that. And today we have a book that we'd like to give you to be able to help educate you further on tax-free investing. It's not Roth IRAs, but it's Roth IRA lookalikes. It's called Smart Retirement. Love to put this in your hand. Call us at 800-725-7616. It's an easy read book. It's about 100 pages, and it will give you some good concepts of how you can put money in and pay no tax later and even be leveraged up for long-term care or for your family later on. Smart Retirement, ask for it by name, but call 800-725-7616 for the next 5 first-time callers. 800-725-7616. Call now.
You're locked on to Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Agemy.
Louis Pasteur said, fortune favors the prepared mind. Being prepared, proactivity is key to being ahead of things, right? Somebody else said that 90% of life is showing up on time, dressed to play. Being prepared. Chance, fortune, opportunity favors the prepared mind. Being prepared is key. I'm Andrew Agemy.
And I'm Daniel Agemy, and you're listening to Financial Strategies. Today we're talking about, do Roth IRAs make sense? And AAA, Roths, in a lot of ways, help you be prepared for certain situations, right?
Exactly. Then I can't, that's one of the reasons why we're a proponent of it, Daniel, because they help you be prepared. One of the things they help our clients be prepared for is inflation, right? Because in a Roth IRA, if you take $1,000 out of a traditional IRA, you only end up with $700 or so. If you take $1,000 a month out of a Roth IRA, what do you have? You have $1,000. That's 30% more money you have, because actually it's more than 30%, right? Because you were prepared, because you did a Roth conversion. Why? Because we don't know what taxes are going to be in the future. And there's a lot of proponents, a lot of people that say, or people that don't like Roth IRAs that say, oh, you're never going to get your money back. That's why we say it's got to be for a long term. If it's over 5 years or so, then we're starting to talk about some good stuff. It's what it's going to do for you in retirement. It does a lot of different things, right, Daniel? It presents a lot of different opportunities. It does other things for you. One huge thing it does is prepare and save you taxes, and that fits a lot of different angles. Like if you have $1 million in your IRA, and you want to take and that's all you got pension money, you got Social Security money, you got IRA money. You want to take your family on a vacation and you want to do a special family vacation, it's going to cost 50 grand. You have to take an extra 50 grand out of the traditional IRA. Between all the taxation, depending how old you are, it could cost you $30,000-$40,000. It could cost you in total taxes of what that's going to take. It's certainly going to cost you 20 or 25,000 probably to take that money out. So you have to take out 100,000, 75,000 to end up with the 50. That's not a very pretty picture, right? Because it takes your money that you are getting and taxes it more. It's a terrible thing. But if you take it out of the Roth IRA, right, you don't even have to worry about what it's going to do for your taxes or to your taxes.
And it affects other things, like it can affect Social Security. It depends what state you live in, right? Because you got to calculate in your state taxes. There's a lot of different things that it allows you to do. And, one thing that comes to mind when we're talking about this is when you were using the illustration of vehicle registration earlier. A traditional IRA and a Roth IRA are, how do you say it, registrations or license plates, right?
Right.
And you can own different types of investments. You could put it on any car, I said. You could put it on any type of car. You could buy any type of investment. But when it's in your 403B or it's in your 401k, there are handcuffs, and you can't put it on any type of vehicle. You can't put the license plate on any car you want.
Restricted.
It's like when you go down to rent a car and there's only this many you can pick. It's not all cars that have been made. You can only pick these. You want to get into that a little bit?
Yeah. That's great. What I want to say, IRA stands for Individual Retirement Arrangement. This means it's for you. It's your money. It's your deal. You can choose the universe of options. Everything out there, basically, that's investable in, you can choose if it's in an IRA. But if it's in a 401k, even though they give you a ton of choices, the choices are limited, generally speaking, to some kind of mutual fund, generally speaking. And there's a lot of better investments besides mutual funds. But the thing that's, and why is that? Well, because the 401k, the 403b is owned by the company. The money is yours, but the company owns the plan. So the company gets to say what the rules are. Now, the problem with that is that why do companies have 401ks? Who are 401ks built for?
Young people saving money.
Young people saving money. If you're listening to this and you have substantial money in your 401k, you've done well, right? You use that money to grow your money, but they're not built for people in or close to retirement is the key. And the government knows this. That's why the government came up with a rule that at 59 and a half, they take the handcuffs off so that you can, most companies, not 100% companies, but most companies, 98% of companies, you can take your money out of your 401k and put it into an IRA so that you now have control instead of your company having control. And in my estimation, you controlling your money is key. Your company can't control your money as well as you can control your money, especially with the right resources and the right support team. So people are not aware of this. This is a stipulation that has become available that at 59 and a half, most companies allow you to roll your money out while you're still working for the company and put it into an IRA where you have a control and you can choose the universe of options to put your money in, not just a bunch of mutual funds. And if you're rolling out to put in a bunch of mutual funds, that's the wrong strategy. That's the wrong philosophy. If you're going to take it out to diversify amongst all the different things that are available. You're listening to Financial Strategies with Andrew Daniel Agemy. Today's topic is, do IRAs make sense? And, the bottom line is that we think they make sense in a lot of different ways, but you decide yourself. Now, we have a paper that we put together that we designed to help educate you further on this. It's called Investing for Income in the Stock Market. Now, it's not that we're against the stock market. You hear us talk about, we believe in investment in dividends and interest, investing for dividends and interest, and you can invest for dividends in the stock market. But the key is all these things that we're talking about, folks, don't try this at home. Please don't try this at home. You can end up paying a lot of money in taxes that you weren't aware of because there's that thing called IRMA tax, right? And we don't have time to get into IRMA tax today, but check out our websites or webinars for Roth conversions, because we talk about it in there. But you can get in trouble in a lot of different ways and hurt yourself rather than help you if you don't do it right. But this paper, Investing for Income in the Stock Market, call for your recopy, 800-725-7616. Call 800-725-7616 for your free copy, Investing for Income. You listen to Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Agemy. Today's topic is, do Roth IRAs make sense? Daniel, that's a great point with the 401ks. People should have options to do different things with their money than what their companies do, because 401ks are built for young people, not for mature people who are close or in retirement.
So let's talk about a couple of strategies. So we talked about one strategy would be you can do a conversion, right? So this is assuming this is, you can do a conversion. Maybe you qualify. I've done Roth conversions. Maybe you qualify to make contributions, but you still want to get more money over. So you want to do Roth conversions, right? You've done Roth conversions. They can be a good thing, and you can time them. That's the good thing. You can do them whenever you want. So you can time them for either it's a year you didn't make a lot of money, or it's like we talked about a lot of our clients, but we used one example of a client who, when the value of their bonds were down, we converted it and was like getting money over and paying 75 cents on the dollar. Right? So you can do different strategies like that with conversions. Now, typically it doesn't make sense to do the whole thing. You got $1 million 401k or IRA. It doesn't make sense to do the whole thing, but you can use it at different times. You've set people up with programs where before they take Social Security, before they take these RMDs, or before they take other income that they're going to have in the future, you start doing Roth conversions. So when that stuff kicks in, they already have all this money growing tax-free. And then when they decide they want more income, guess what? It comes out tax-free, right? So there's some different strategies.
Yeah.
One thing you mentioned earlier that I'd like to hit on some more is, especially for people who are not working, so you don't have earned income, because you have to have earned income to make the contributions. So especially for people who no longer can make contributions, if you do a conversion, it makes a lot of sense to pay the taxes on that conversion out of a bank account or out of a non-taxable account, because you can't put more money into the 401k, into the IRA or the Roth IRA. So you've already done all the saving you can. So you want to keep as much of that possible, because the whole point is you're trying to get it tax-free.
Yes.
So if you send some of it to the IRS, then it can't be tax-free. So that's one strategy to watch out when you're doing these. If at all possible, try to pay the taxes from after-tax money.
And if you need some help with that, let us know. We'll be glad to help you from that standpoint. But this is the point, is that don't try this at home, because there's innuendos, there's ins and outs, there's all these things that could get you into trouble if you don't do it properly. But big key is, when you turn 50 and a half, look at how to roll your money from your 401k into a Roth IRA or traditional IRA, whichever is most appropriate from that standpoint, and get some help to do that. But yeah, this aspect of investing, one of the things that you said, Daniel, you talked about the conversion when the things are down, and that's a great time, right? COVID was a great time when we did some good conversions for people, because their assets were down and they came back now, and now they got all that money tax free in their Roth IRAs. That it came back from the $7,500 to the $10,000. That $2,500 increase is boom in their accounts, right?
And but income, and there's like a snowball just blowing up, compounding, going faster, tax free.
It's amazing. It's amazing, right? But the other aspect is that this is a great time, for people to sell, the market while it's high, right? And put it in an IRA. And then, if what we're talking about, that the market comes down, then we can take it out of that and we can convert it then at a lower rate, right? That's one option that we have. The other thing is that we can depending when people are doing it, we can take the money. And if those $10,000 bonds are on sale for $7,500, right? Now we take that $7,500, we in that conversion, we put that in our Roth, and then we know they're going to make $2,500 on that in the future. So there's no hoping to it. There's no guessing to it. There's promises and guarantees, right? And it's a beautiful thing how this works. Wow. I'm not excited. I'm not excited. Anyway, we're listening to Financial Strategy. Yeah. Listen to Financial Strategies. Andrew and Daniel Agemy. Today's topic is, do Roth IRAs make sense? And we have a book that we'd love to give you. This book is called Smart Retirement. It's a 100-page book, easy to read. It's for those people that are already maxing out their 401ks, or maybe they haven't, or don't qualify for a Roth IRA, It's about tax-free investing. It's a great option. Doesn't fit everybody, but it's a great option for those people that it fits. Daniel and I are both doing this ourselves. We love it. It's a fantastic thing. I'd like to tell you more about it if you're so inclined, but you got to first start with the book. It's called Smart Retirement. Call us now to get your free copy, 800-725-7616, 800-725-7616 for your free copy of Smart Retirement for the first 5 first-time callers at 800-725-7616. Or contact us on the web, agemy.com, agemy.com. Ask us for the book or ask us questions that you may have that we can answer while we're on the air. 800-725-7616 or agemy.com. Call now.
This is Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Agemy.
Harry is 68 years old. He's going to retire in 2 years when he's 70 years old. And Harry started taking Social Security now. And Harry's getting about, $3,000 a month for Social Security. So it's $3,600 a year. That's pretty nice chunk of change. Harry doesn't need it because he's got his regular income. So I say to Harry, listen, you don't need this money. So you can put about little over $30,000 of that $36,000 into your Roth 401k this year. Do that. So here's how, and he says, oh, that's a great idea, Andrew, but how can I take my Social Security money and put it in my Roth? I said, well, you really can't. It's got to come out of your paycheck, Harry. So instead of your paycheck, we put all of your paycheck in, or part, this kind of money, $2,000 a month, the $3,000 a month from your paycheck into the Roth IRA or Roth 401k. And then your Social Security comes into your checking account and you use that to replace the money that you're putting in the 401k Roth from your your paycheck. And you live off of the Social Security, but invest your pay and build up your Roth 401k before you leave your work. I'm Andrew Agemy.
And I'm Daniel Agemy, and you're listening to Financial Strategies. Today we're talking about, do Roth IRAs make sense? And AAA, that's another really great strategy. We're trying to give some people some ideas.
Hey, Daniel, just to let you know, I this title, right? Do Roth IRAs make sense? They don't make sense. They make dollars. Gotcha. So what were you going to say? I interrupted you. That's
a cool strategy, right? We talked about a strategy where you can, first off, pack away as much as you can into a Roth. Like, see if it makes sense for you between putting it into traditional. What do you need more? Do you think taxes will be higher or lower in the future? And then put it in accordingly, right? How much money you're making? You're making a ton of money and you really need that tax break now? Or would you rather have the tax break later? So pack as much in it. Another strategy is conversions and how you can match those conversions with your current income situation, with the current market situations, and the situations between, you got a lot of money sitting in the bank doing nothing for you. Maybe you should just start doing some conversions so you can use up some of that money in the bank and pay it in taxes, right? Give that money to the IRS and let the other money build up and grow tax-free by converting. And then this strategy you mentioned, where you can taste retirement. You're right there.
Right.
And you're just trying to earn a few bucks. And a lot of people do that and they collect that money and it just goes in their bank account. And then they turned on Social Security and it's just going in the bank account. And they got all this money in the bank account, but it's not really helping them.
Yeah.
It's not really earning that much.
Right.
And anything it earns, you have to pay tax on it. So that strategy, I'm just going to reiterate it, where you, instead of getting your $30,000 in paycheck, you just say to your employer, put it all in the 401k, and then you live off of the income stream you're getting from Social Security. Then when you retire, or each year, you can roll that over into your Roth IRA. So you have all investments options, but that's a way you can get $30,000 into a Roth without having to pay extra tax. Whereas if you were converting it, you'd be paying extra tax.
Very cool, Daniel. And the thing I want to say to people is that, there are certain rules with Roth 401ks that are different than Roth IRAs. And especially if you reach RMD age and that kind of thing, you might have an RMD, a required minimum distribution on your Roth. You will have a required minimum distribution on your Roth 401k if you leave it in when you're RMD age, folks. A lot of people don't realize that because there are not required minimum distributions on Roth IRAs, but there are required minimum distributions on Roth 401ks. So be aware of that. That's another reason to roll it over into your IRA or Roth because of that. So there's liquidity and flexibility and give yourself a lot of different options when you put money into a Roth IRA. So they make a lot of sense. SENSE, wisdom. There's wisdom in putting it, and they make a lot of dollars, not cents, CENTS either, right? So, but here's the key: is that required minimum distributions, right? We have to mention this, that when right now the rule is at 73 years, when people turn 73 years old, that you will have to start taking out a minimum amount out of your traditional IRA or 401k if you're not working for the company that your 401k is in. If you're working, you don't have to take it out, but the key is you have to take out a minimum amount of money. Well, I have seen people, there's a lie that the government has propagated, which is, you put the money in your IRAs or 401ks, and when you're in retirement, you'll be in a lower tax bracket. That's a lie, folks, because, people I typically see are either in the same tax bracket or sometimes higher tax bracket and paying more taxes than ever before. Why? Well, if they've got a pension and they've got Social Security, and then they've got their IRA that they have to take out minimum distribution on, well, now they probably are having to pay tax on more money than what they actually need, and that's egregious. Well, that's why it's important to consider doing Roth conversions either prior to RMD or even in RMD. We have clients who are RMD age that are doing Roth conversions because it's in their best interest. Well, I need to let you know that you're listening to Financial Strategies. Andrew and Daniel Agemy. Today's topic is, do Roth IRAs make sense? And we have a paper that we'd love to give you that help you be able to understand things a little bit better. Investing for Income in the Stock Market. Investing for Income is a paper that we put together for you that will help you understand that you can invest in the stock market, still get income, still dollar cost average when you're not using that money, and still grow your money the old-fashioned way, organically, through dividends and interest. That's a great read. Love to put that in your hand for free. Call us at 800-725-7616 for your free copy, or contact us on the web at our website, agemy.com, AGEMY.com. The two words Agemy, spell our last name of Agemy, so that we can, or if you have a question about things, we can field that question and get it answered on the air or in person. 800-725-7616 for your free copy, Investing for Income. Today's topic is, do Roth IRAs make sense? Because people don't know what people don't know. We want to educate you to be able to make smart decisions. Daniel, this thing about RMDs is a huge thing because people don't understand how that can be impacting their retirement. But the key, whether it's RMDs, it's rolling over 401k, is dividends and interest, getting paid. People, there's nobody listening to this that would go to work and not expect a paycheck. What we want for people's money, right, is for their money to work hard. We want their money in a sweatshop, working hard for them, getting a paycheck, and that's what happens through dividends and interest. as opposed to the growth model. Because if the growth model, if the market goes up, you make money, but if the market goes down or sideways, which it does most of the time, you don't make anything.
Yeah, that's true. And the Roth IRAs, maybe part of why we like Roth IRAs so much is because the Roth IRA model works so well with the income model. And a lot of tax people, as we talked, and even financial people, I'm hearing more and more, are like, it doesn't really make sense to do Roth conversions. And I can understand why they're saying that is because they don't know. It's uncertain. We don't know what taxes are going to be in the future. Well, if you don't know what taxes are going to be in the future, I implore you to go to the debt clock, and look at the U.S. debt clock, look at the debt, and you can watch how fast it's going, and it will blow your mind how fast the trillions of dollars are adding up. And all that to say, most likely taxes will be higher in the future than lower in the future, right?
Yeah, somebody's got to pay that debt, right?
Somebody's got to pay that debt. So why the Roth in the income model works so well together is you know what you're going to get. You and I were talking earlier about somebody who has $1 million. And with rates where they are right now, that can pump out $65,000 to $70,000 a year of dividends and interest. Now, if that's in a Roth and you don't want $70,000 a year, you reinvest it. And now you've got $1,070,000 earning income for you. If you want it, you get $70,000 in your pocket. There's no taxes. And that's why these things work so good hand in hand together, because you know what you're going to get. It would be like saying to your employer, I'd like to start getting my paycheck tax free. I don't want to pay taxes. You guys pay the taxes. Don't take it out of my check, pay it. They'd be like, that's ridiculous. And that's why I kind of have a hard time believing these things are even legal, these Roth IRAs, because it's unheard of where you could go to your employer or go to anyone and say, I want that money to come tax-free. But yet the government gives you an opportunity to grow your money and then take it out tax-free. It's amazing.
It is. It is. And, one reason I think too, Daniel, why people are not proponents of Roth IRAs is because they don't know what's going to happen to the money, right? Because they invest in the stock market and you don't know what it's going to be, right? But when you're divest it with an illustration that you just said with $65,000 or $70,000 a year dividend, with the compounding that happens in 10 years, that's worth $2 million tax free. Beautiful thing for the folks if they're still alive, or if they need it for long-term to pay for their long-term care to stay in their home for the rest of their life, or if they want to pass it on to their children so their children get the money tax free. Now, if you're single or you don't have children, maybe it doesn't. Depending on how much money you have, maybe it doesn't make sense to do a Roth conversion or that kind of thing, right? Because if you're just going to give it to charity, it's not going to help charity that is tax free because they're not going to pay tax anyway. So that is, that's why you need somebody, when at the top of that retirement mountain, do you want to be in a 2-seater sports car going across that snow-capped covered mountain, or in an all-wheel drive SUV driven by a professional driver that's been there before, that knows where the ruts are, knows where the holes are, knows where the mountains are, knows how much gas to give it where? Do you want a supercharger that's going to be able to help you, get through things and build that money in a greater, better way than what you're normally used to? Or do you just want, old hat, que sera, whatever will be. It's up to you. You've been listening to Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Agemy. Today's topic has been, do Roth IRAs make sense? Well, we'd like to give you this book for those people that don't qualify for a Roth IRA or have more money than what their Roth IRAs will take. Smart Retirement. It's a great thing. 100 pages, easy read, how you can invest tax-free for the future or for your family, however you want to do it. Call for your free copy, 800-725-7616, 800-725-7616 to the next 5 first-time callers, 800-725-7616, or contact us on our website, agemy.com. Remember, if you want your retirement to be stress-free, invest for the I and the G.